other stations are tuned in too.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any materials produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present Girls vs. Ghosts, The Realm Walker with Kelly McCarville, live, only on Spreaker. Every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific. And as always, join us in our live interactive chat by going to Spreaker.com or downloading the Spreaker app for your devices. Kelly is a respected paranormal investigator and also a very gifted medium and brings a unique perspective into the paranormal field. Be sure to follow Kelly on all her social media at Facebook, Kelly McCarville Moonspinner, Instagram and Twitter at Moonspinner76, and on the web at mysticalmoonspinner.com. Here's your host, Kelly McCarville.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday evening. If you are anywhere in the Iowa area, you are probably getting rained on. So we are going to keep our fingers crossed that it's just a little bit of rain and not the wind and storms we had last night because, yeah, we want to stay connected. Tonight's guest is a gentleman that I met, I don't even know how long ago it's been, actually. I probably should have figured that out before I started saying that. But I had the pleasure of meeting him a while back and getting to know him and his team and his wife, and wanted to invite him on the show just to talk about what he does. So my guest is Steve Weeks of Believers United Society. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me on tonight.
Absolutely. I know we've always had such crazy fun conversations when we're in the same place. So I thought, you know what, we'll bring you online here and we'll share you with everybody else and give everybody a chance to get to know you guys better. So
Sure.
Why don't you tell us, just to start off, what is Believers United Society?
Well, it's just kind of a group that we really don't have any set members. Basically, I just have a little thing on Facebook there. I do have a website, don't go to it much, but I do mainly everything through Facebook. And I just kind of try to get people together with the same beliefs, likes, and so forth. And I set up events for people to attend, and I don't really have like a set group or anything.
Sure.
It's just totally open to anybody that's interested. So I kind of found out that like these people that might have set groups, they can't always all get together.
Right. Yeah.
I just thought if I started something to where you can be part of a group, you don't have to be part of a group. Basically, you find these people that, hey, they don't know anybody else that is into the paranormal or anything, so they just like joining in on the events and stuff. And I just kind of leave it open to everybody. So
absolutely. And that's really, honestly, that's a good thing, because, and that's part of the reason that I host the events that I do, is for the same reason. If people may not always have a group or know how to get into these locations or have anybody to go investigate with, so providing those opportunities, that's huge. So I know that I've investigated with you. I've had the pleasure of being able to investigate with you multiple times. You know what you're doing. So how did you get started in the paranormal? What kind of kicked that all off for you?
Well, I don't know. At an early age, I've always been really interested in the unexplained. UFOs, Bigfoots, ghosts, all that stuff. I mean, from early on, really never got into the paranormal like I am now until I started watching a show called Ghost Hunters.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that one.
Yeah, probably not. But I was kind of in on the beginning of the show because I still have VHS tapes of that show still.
You're dating us.
But, I started watching it from day one, and I liked it a lot. And I don't know, it just kind of opened my eyes a little bit, and I got interested in it, and I just thought, well, hey, I'd like to do stuff like that. So I started going to some of these events,
Sure.
that people had and so forth. Met a ton of great people, and I just keep learning day one, from what you can do with this field and everything, and I just enjoy it a lot,
I think one of the things that drew me to you basically was that, you came in not completely a newbie. You knew what you were doing. You obviously had that knowledge back there, and yet you had such an open mind for learning and for listening and for hearing what other people had to say, I think that's something that sometimes we're missing in the field these days. Now, I know that most of the time when you're out, you have someone with you. And full disclosure, so for anybody who knows me or has spent any time with me, you guys know I'm horrible with names. I'm horrible with names. But I will try my damnedest to learn a person's name and remember a person's name. So Steve almost always has his wife with him. And for whatever reason, I decided that her name was Betty. And I had myself convinced that her name was Betty. And even after she spent an entire day correcting me, no, her name is Billy, I still call her Betty. So it is our running joke. So your wife, Billy, comes with you quite often. Was she interested in the paranormal prior to you getting started in this, or was this kind of like a joint thing?
It was kind of she got tagged along at the beginning. She was intrigued by it as not much as I was, but I kind of got her more into what we're doing now,
Sure.
She's had experiences too when she was younger, and we kind of explained some of it, I think, and we kind of debunked some stuff. So,
right,
just kind of helped her through what she was experiencing when she was younger. And
I'm debating. I don't know without her being on here if I want to ask you to share her experiences. We'll wait and see.
Well, I can share them. She's lived in a couple different, when she was living at home, they lived in two different houses, and she kept seeing this dark figure. She thought it was a man around her bed at night, and it was at both houses. And when we were living at an acreage out by Viola, Iowa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had an acreage out there, and she was having some of the same sightings of this person, shadow person or whatever. And I woke up one time and I said, "Hey, I'll check the house, make sure nobody's in the house." Went down. We had two dachshunds that would bark about it at anything,
Right.
I said, "Listen, if somebody was in the house, the dogs would be barking." So she put that in her mind. That,
right. Yeah, definitely.
That there's nothing there. And she hasn't had that problem since. So I don't know if she was just something in her brain or what. But
so I'm sorry. I'm watching chat for questions too.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It was just something that was following her around. And sometimes you have that recurring dream, and I don't know if that's what she was experiencing or what, but.
So it would follow her from location to location.
What's that?
It would follow her from location to location?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's more something that is attached to her than the location.
Yeah.
So I wonder, I mean, I know that it's scary sometimes when you don't know necessarily what it is, but I wonder if it's more like a relative or something. Have you guys ever tried to connect with whatever it is?
No. Because like I said, at the acreage, once I told her the dogs would bark, she just kind of quit seeing that. So I don't know if we scared her away or what. But
yeah.
I don't know. She just never knew what it was. But
Interesting.
yeah.
So one of the questions that we had in chat is, and I'll find it. It was from Darren. What is your device of choice?
Well, it depends on where I'm at. Believe it or not, a lot of times I just like to set someplace. If I start an investigation, I like to just sit and listen for a while to see what I can sense or whatever. I don't have my abilities like you to fine tune all that, but I just like to listen first, and then I like the SLS camera a lot. I kind of put my own together, so.
Yeah, I remember you showing that to me.
Yeah. It's kind of bulky, but
it works.
Yeah, and it does its purpose, and I get pretty good results out of it. So, but that's always interesting when you're picking up all the other stuff. That just kind of helps verify something else is there,
Exactly, and that's what I like the instruments for. Is when you go in and you get those feelings or you have an experience to then try to back it up with that. But I know you have, because I remember when we were down at Mason House, you'd brought a lot of equipment with you. So you have a lot of equipment. What other type of stuff do you take with you on investigations?
Well, I got probably just like everybody else's got, the spirit box. I got an Ovilus 3, which is the older model, but I kind of tend to like that one better.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people go back to that one. They get these newer ones, and they'll eventually go back to that Ovilus 3. So, it kind of spits out some weird stuff at times, but there's just times it spits out stuff and you can't explain it.
Yeah.
So that's
they do
kind of
that with the spirit box, though, too. I mean, because isn't it up to like an SP11 or something like that, and pretty much everybody prefers the 7?
Right. That's what I got. So
I think that's what I've got, too. I never use mine, but I think mine's a 7.
I picked up something. It's kind of a combination REM pod with the temperature reading, all that stuff, but then it also senses vibration.
Okay.
I've had mixed readings with that. I mean, it seems like I can get stuff on the K2, but then that doesn't go off, and then I can get stuff on the vibration part of the REM pod thing, and I don't know, but that seems to do pretty good at times. I mean, I was getting stuff at Farrar when we were there in the gym.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we were getting like vibrations and stuff there. I've gotten numerous stuff at the Granger House with it. I mean, one of the times we were there and I had that thing going off and it went off so much it killed my battery.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I had to change the battery in it. But yeah,
that's
it was
a damn good interaction.
We was sitting there for quite some time, wasn't getting anything, and all of a sudden it went off and just wouldn't stop beeping.
So you guys are at the Granger House an awful lot, and I want to say that's maybe the first place that I met you. What kind of is your connection to the Granger House?
Well, we started doing we went to some of their events. In October they have this Wicked This Way Comes, which of course there's another plug. We have every Friday some kind of an event for the Granger House on Fridays. So, but we kind of started going to those events on Fridays, and then we kind of got to meet some of the people there, and then we got in with they had an open air market is when they get a bunch of vendors together, and we were one of them. It was a year ago actually, and they said, "Hey, would you guys mind getting more involved with the house?" They just kind of,
Right.
and I said, "Yeah, sure." So we started doing some tours and stuff, and they finally said, "Hey, you guys want to become board members?" So we got on the board, and Billy's now the secretary there. So
That's very cool. Well, I know that you spend time there, and I know that the spirits there definitely like you. So,
you know that.
yeah, they interact with you guys when we've been there, because I mean we've been there multiple times together.
Yeah.
I think it has to do a lot with the respect that you and Billy have for the location and for the spirits that are there.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're there and because you talk to them and because you basically treat them like family, you're part of their family too, you know? So, yeah, it's a familiarity, basically, is what I get, at least the feeling that I get. Definitely from Dora, but,
Yeah.
sorry, there's a big bang outside my house.
Probably Dora.
Might be. My house isn't exactly clean right at the moment, so it may be. I haven't even sworn yet. So, what kind of interaction do you have at the Granger House when you're there? And does it differ when you're there just like you guys by yourself, or is it pretty much consistent regardless of if you're there alone or with people?
We kind of help with the flashlight tours there, which I really like, because people, newbies, would come in and they can use our equipment during that time and everything. And what I really dig about that whole deal is we can help people and maybe kind of help educate people a little bit, and that's what I like about it. That's why I like all these expos that we do. That you have, we go and listen to all these speakers.
Right.
You learn so much and get such a good round thought process of how everybody else thinks, and I think that's how you can kind of get your own thought process, But I just like meeting the different people. Everybody's a little different and makes the world go round.
So we have a couple more questions. I think I'm going to go to this one first. How do you feel the paranormal field is going right now? And do you think it's going in the right direction?
Well, I think a lot more people is open to things and accepting stuff a lot more than they used to. I mean, when Ghost Hunters first came out, I think there was a lot of people kind of saying, "Oh, that stuff isn't real," and so forth. But I think it's just look at TV nowadays.
Right.
It's just full of all kinds of paranormal shows, so it's getting a lot more popular, more accepted. You just got to kind of take the good with the bad. You got to believe what you believe and not follow everything on TV.
You're in there a lot for the Granger House with the flashlight tours, though, and you've been on several of the group events that I've done and other people have done, though. Mm-hmm. How much do you think that's influencing the people who attend these events, though, and how much time do you spend telling people that's not how this works?
Well, it seems like everybody's always got some kind of a question about, "Oh, I see this on Ghost Adventures," or something like that, and they said, "Is there a demon here? Is there bad people here?" And, the Granger House, I've never had anything. And even when we've been out in Edinburgh, I have never personally, our group has never seen anything bad there.
No, me neither.
I talked to a lot of people that go through there, and they say they experience some stuff in the basement, but I've never experienced anything there. So I like going there. I love going there, though. I mean, it seems like we always get a good interaction. The last time we were there in March, we got quite a bit of stuff. So I got a shadow hand in the house behind the manor and everything, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, and every time I've been out there, I mean, there's always something that happens, but I don't get anything evil when we're out there. There's something uncomfortable in a couple of spots, but I mean, we've had this conversation before. If you're a jerk in life, you're a jerk in death, and I think there's maybe some people who weren't the friendliest, but they're still just people. So, I don't know. I guess that's just my opinions, but so I know that you've had the opportunity, I believe you've had the opportunity, yeah, you have, to meet Coyote Chris Sutton and some other shamans like that.
Yeah.
One of the questions that we had is, what are your feelings on shamanism and having them be part of an investigation?
Well, I think it's pretty cool because it's just another aspect, a different point of view, that you can get.
Yeah.
Just another experience that you can do during the investigation, I mean, it's just...
And you got a chance to investigate... Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, what I've listened to with Chris and stuff, at Farrar, and then he was at this expo this last weekend. I mean, just to listen him talk and some of the stuff he's experienced and what he brings to the table, it just gives another aspect, another view.
He makes you look at things differently. He absolutely makes you look at things differently.
I think that's what kind of, because I'm so open to everything that everybody has to say that, I don't know, I just take it all in, because I think it just helps me be a better educator when people ask me questions. So...
Yeah, and I do that when I do my presentations, honestly. I mean, I'll have a little bit of information that I'm going to share with people, but I share 15, 20 minutes and pass out. I'm like, what do you guys want to know? Because I think that so often we get in situations where we feel like we want to share, where we feel like we should share certain things, but who knows what the people who are listening to us really want to know, That's why, like you've seen in my classes, I try to keep them as interactive as possible because I could talk for 3 hours, but I may not answer the one question you came to get answered. So it makes it interesting and hard.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to listen to everybody else ask questions because they might ask something that you don't think of or something, but you can, it's just, I really enjoy those when you guys have those.
Well, we love doing them. We wish we could get in and listen to more of them, but... So what other places have you guys investigated?
Well, we've been with you at the Mason House. We've been to Edinburgh. We were at this bed and breakfast in Vinton with Unknown Darkness. It was the I think it was the Lamb and Lion breakfast, bed and breakfast. It was closed when we were there. And I can't think of it, but there's in Evansville, there's a haunted house. I can't think of it right now. It used to be a funeral home, and they've added on to it, and they have haunted houses there all the time.
I'm not sure which one that would be.
Yeah, we've been there. That was kind of an interesting evening, too, but let's see. Well, we went to Farrar. Granger House.
Trying to think where else you guys have been with me.
I think that's maybe it. I don't know. Well, we try to get away to Galena too. We like Galena. Yeah. We stay at the DeSoto House, and we'll do stuff at the DeSoto House. I post stuff on our DeSoto House stuff, so that's a real active place.
See, I've never been able to stay there. That's one I've still got to do sometime, but it was...
I was trying to get the highest to join us, I think it was last year, because it's some weird stuff that happens there. I got a stick figure twice there. We went there first time as soon as we got there, and we got a stick figure, and it was like looking out the window. And this is during the daytime, but it just kept
Right.
leaning over to the curtain, like it was looking out. So it's kind of different. But K2 always goes off at different times of the day, night, different spots. So there's stuff moving. It's not.
So what's some of the best experiences that you've had? I mean, what kind of things have you captured? Not just at DeSoto, but like on your investigations.
Well, the last time we were at the Granger House on a flashlight tour, it was kind of toward the end of the evening when we had a lady with us, and her name was Elena. And on the spirit box, it came across Elena when we were sitting in the main room there where that couch is.
Right.
And
The red one?
It actually said Elena on the spirit box, which is not a real common name.
Exactly, yeah.
Then we had a K2 that was sitting next to her on the couch, and it just started going off, like something sat down.
Really?
Yeah, so then we had another person bring their K2 over and put it down, and it started flashing all the way. So multiple people were starting to put their K2s down on this couch, and we had like 4 or 5 of them, and they were all going off. And Adam comes up and says, oh, well, maybe they're interacting with one another. So he comes up and he goes to move them like away from one another. As soon as he does that, they all go off, and then he puts them back together, nothing. Doesn't light up or nothing. So whatever was there, he scared it away. So that was kind of an interesting deal there. Out at Edinburgh, there's been like the ovulists. Me and I was big brothers, big sisters.
Right.
I had a big brother that I kind of mentored, and he was on an investigation with us out at Edinburgh one time. And we just started walking down the hall, and the thing said scale on the ovulus. Well, we walked past the room right after it says that, and here's this big weight scale. It looked like the nurse's station. And that was before we walked past that doorway, and here's that scale. And then we have a guy that comes out with us periodically. His name's Paul Melch. And it seems like there's something out at Edinburgh that likes him a lot, because every time he's out there, I mean, we get the name Paul on the audio all the time, but it's always out there. And the last time he was out there, he was kind of late getting there, and the thing just goes off and says Paul. I said, oh, well, Paul's not here. Well, he surely just pulled up.
So it's like he was telling you he just got there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it just, once in a while that IVS will pick up weird stuff and just spit it out. But his name only comes up when we're out there, so it's kind of weird.
I wonder why they took a liking to him. I mean, I know that there's spirits that'll do that at certain places, but that's pretty cool.
We actually walked, after he got there, we actually walked over to the cemetery. And the whole time he was walking over to the cemetery, it started saying words like love and lust and everything. So, I don't know. Something likes him a lot out there.
Well, that's good. That helps increase the activity that you guys are going to have out there.
Yeah.
If there's a spirit that's more drawn to an individual. So,
I don't know. Have you, when you've been in Edinburgh, when there's not as many people in the manor or something, don't you get a little more activity or not?
Yeah, I would say for the most part. I mean, we've had good activity when we have bigger groups of people out there, but honestly, a good-sized group of people is like 5 or 6 people. Yeah. It's enough for you guys to be able to split up just a little bit and not be alone.
Right.
And yet it doesn't seem to be quite so overwhelming for them. At least that's, I don't know, I guess that's my feeling. That's usually anywhere from 4 to 6 is about the size group that I seem to get the most interaction when I'm out there. But like I said, I've been out there with 30 people before, and we get stuff.
Now, see, like, we'll kind of split up, and I'll have, like, most of them go out to the house and back or something.
Uh-huh.
I'll stick around and back in the manor, and I'll just sit there and listen. And you can just pick up all the voices so much better when nobody's there.
Yeah.
It just...
You were just saying picking up voices. I was going to tell you, make sure... So you... Let me back up and say... So you've got some investigations actually coming up that you're going to be a part of. I know that you have a trip to Spook Cave coming up.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the 12th, we're going to get to go out with Chris up in the Grainger there. Never been to Spook Cave, so it'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, there was 9 tickets available. I bought all of them, so a lot of the people that follow my Facebook page get to go and enjoy themselves.
So I went and I did that on the 26th, I think it was. I don't remember the date. Doesn't matter. But I went up and I did the first tour that he did, and it's very, very cool. It's very, very cool. But make sure you take a recorder with you when you go into the cave.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he had said that he hears voices in there before, and I mean, I believe him, obviously, but you have no idea what you're in for. It's crazy, the voices that we heard in there the night we were in there. So, yes, be sure to take your recorder with you when you guys go in, because it's very, very cool.
I'm going to have to get with him anyway to see what we could bring.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know he wants to do a dark session in the cave, so I don't know.
Yep.
But
and I can't say for sure. I mean, obviously it's his investigation, his thing. But I know when we went in, he did the Estes method kind of like on the way back, so he can't really hear. Lights were on, obviously, because he needs to see where he's going. But then you get to the back, and he wants pitch black, pitch black, like you would not believe. But a recorder doesn't hurt anything. We have recorders running, so. But yeah, check with him. I mean, obviously I'm not in charge, so I can't say, but I'm just going based off what we did. Anywho. So some other questions we have on this is, well, it's kind of a two-part. I'm going to add to the question. The question was, what are your views on demonologists? But I want to back that up and say, what are your thoughts on demons? And then what are your thoughts on demonologists?
Well, just... I suppose they're out there, but unless you're actually looking for trouble, I don't think they're ever going to bother you. My opinion, I guess. I've never met anybody that's actually ran into a demon, so I can't explain exactly what it would be like, but they could exist. I don't know. I've never experienced it, so I can't really educated to answer that, I guess. But what do you think about it?
We've had this discussion, I know. I don't want to say that they don't exist, because I don't want to discount the experience that other people have had. But I firmly believe that they are a 1 in a million occurrence, and that they're not out there lurking around every corner or in every investigation or every TV show. And they definitely have better things to do than come in just to mess with people. You know, I mean, if they're real, they're going to have bigger and better things to do. But I'm going to be the first one to acknowledge that I'm not a demonologist. You know, I'm not. Maybe I've just been ridiculously lucky. Maybe I won't ever encounter one because I don't know that I necessarily believe in them. And that's a question that I've put out there before to people. If you don't believe in demons, does that mean you'll never see one? Because
I kind of feel like if you're not looking for something, I don't think you're going to, my opinion, you're not going to experience it. You keep your guard down at all, or do you kind of keep your guard up doing investigations?
I always have a certain level of my guard up. I don't know that it's safe to take it down completely just because it makes you completely vulnerable. But I can't keep my normal guard up because then I won't experience anything, because I have to have my guard up all the time or I'm constantly being bombarded by things. But what kind of things do you do when you go out on an investigation for protection to keep yourself safe?
Mine's mainly mental. Just right state of mind, basically. I think that might be why I can't get your pendulum to work.
We're going to keep working on that.
About every pendulum you had, I could not get either one of them to work.
I felt so bad because I know you were so patient trying to go through all of them and find that one that was going to work with you. And I've seen that happen before with people where they need to work through them, but they usually find one. And I'm just like, why can we not get one to work for him? So we're going to get there, Steve. We will find one. Find one that will work.
I still bought one.
I know, but if we find one that works, we're going to trade it out.
I'm still waiting. Billy's works just fine.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So I'll just rely on her then.
Hers worked from the beginning, so yeah. Not sure why that is. And sometimes when people's pendulums don't work, I say, well, it's maybe because you don't believe that it's going to work, but I don't think that's the case with you. I think you believe that they work. I think maybe your block still comes a little bit that it will work for you, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll keep working on them. What places have you not been to that you would like to get into?
Well, I'd like to go to Malvern.
Mm-hmm.
Go Villisca. Those are two that's kind of fairly close to one another, and I'd like to be a great week, to go up there and do both of those. I'd love to try both of them. Oop. I'd like to go back to the Mason House. I thought that was a kind of a neat place to go, and I don't know. I'm always open to a lot of places. A lot of people like that Waverly Hills. So.
Yeah, for anybody who heard a weird noise just a moment ago, I was sneezing and I could not get to the mute button fast enough. So sorry about that. Steve's the only one who can see me like desperately searching for the mute button so I can sneeze. No, Mason House, it's a super cool place. I love the Mason House. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites, but I think probably I've got to get with them to find a date, but I think probably in February I'm going to schedule another event down there, so I'll let you know. But I'd love to have you guys back, definitely.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's such a fun place. Mason House and Granger House.
Pretty safe places, probably.
Most definitely rank up there in my top ones because they're safe and they're comfortable and they're familiar. But I think Cambry House, I'm probably going to be adding that to that list because it's just...
Where's this at now?
The Cambry House. It's just... Okay, yeah. Outside Nauvoo or whatever it is. It's a super, super comfortable place, too. I just haven't been there as much yet. But we're working on that. I've got an investigation coming up out there not too long from now. So, but yeah. So be watching. I'll let you and Billy Betty know when I get it scheduled. Okay. She's Billy Betty forever.
Yeah. Her name's Billie Jean, so I tell people, just think of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, you did tell me that at the last class, and you'd have thought that would stick, but... Yeah, no, I think she's forever stuck.
Not a Michael Jackson fan, huh?
Well, I am actually a Michael Jackson fan, but... So we had a question that came up in chat again, and we actually had this at the panel, I think, this weekend, or if it was just one of the ones somebody mentioned to me. But this goes back kind of to what we were talking about as far as like intent and that sort of stuff. So if somebody goes in with a bottle of water and they say it's holy water.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Is it really holy water, and will it or won't it work? What are your thoughts?
I like the answer you got during that, too. If you believe it's holy water and it will do what it's meant to do, I think it'll do that. But if you don't believe it's not, that it's not holy water, I think it's all in your head. Don't you think?
Oh, I absolutely think it is. I absolutely think it is. And I remember, now that you said that, I remember my answer. So for anybody...
It's all in your belief. That's kind of like, it goes back to that demon thing. If you believe that there's demons out there and they're going to affect you, then they possibly could.
Yeah.
You just go in and say, nothing's going to bother me here, then
nothing's going to bother you there. Yeah.
That's just what I think, I guess.
I can't remember if this is the paranormal panel that I had going on Facebook Live or not, but for anybody who didn't happen to watch that, we got that question during the panel this weekend, and I kind of answered just like Steve did, that, if you believe that it's going to work, it's going to work. So if you have water and you believe it's holy water and you throw it, absolutely. But if I throw a bagel at you and I believe it's going to exorcise this demon, it's going to work too, so...
Yep, there's the bagel.
I kept up with really weird examples of things, but I didn't remember that until you just said that.
Oh.
Power of Panera compels you. Oh, man. So, I'm trying to think what other questions to ask you. There's a million different things to ask.
Well...
Go
Another
ahead.
thing I want to state, I follow the paranormal stuff,
Uh-huh.
But like I said, I've always been interested in like UFOs, Bigfoot stuff, and I'd still like to be able to do stuff like that too. There's a group out of northern Iowa that I think it's called CCP or something.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a Calhoun County or Paranormal or something?
Something like that, maybe.
They actually went, and they've been doing investigations trying to find Bigfoot up there, and they supposedly have evidence up there.
So have you ever had an opportunity to go?
No. But I'm just saying, that'd be something I'd be interested in as well.
Fred, Schneidenberger, or I'm not sure I'm saying his last name right because I never say his last name out loud because it's long and I'll screw it up. Mm-hmm. But Fred from Spirit Recon, he went Bigfoot hunting. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember the name of the gal that he went with, but if that's something you're really interested in, I could maybe get some information from him and find out who it was and how that worked. But there's got to be other people out there that do it too. I just happen to know that he went once. Mm-hmm. But so if anybody's out there listening at any point of this, and you guys are somewhat in the Iowa area and you do Bigfoot hunting and would like to let someone experience that, get in touch with Steve or get in touch with myself, and I'll hook you up.
Okay.
This is the place to put the shout out that you want to do it, Steve. What are your thoughts on UFOs?
I believe in them. I don't know. Like I said, from an early age, I've always believed in stuff with the Bermuda Triangle and UFOs and all that type of stuff. It's always intrigued me so much. I mean, I got so many books on this crap. But
no personal experiences with that, though?
No, not to my knowledge. I don't think I've been abducted or anything, but I believe some of these people that's been abducted, though. I mean, there's just too much that they can't explain, that have been brought out under hypnotism and stuff,
Yeah.
And
I don't know. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, and then they found different marks. I saw something on YouTube probably about a month ago where they found a little device. They were kind of suspected about being abducted. They found some kind of little device like under their skin, and it only got picked up by an X-ray. And they think it got inserted when they were abducted. It was like a tracker, some kind of a tracker.
Oh, how weird.
And it was made out of a different type of metal, they said, that they'd never seen before.
Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of different. So,
so a couple different questions we got in chat now. What is your favorite funny story of any investigation you've been on?
funny story.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a ghost in it, but there's got to be funny stories from investigations.
Oh, well, I'm kind of a clown anyway, but I like to make light of some situations, I guess. I can't think of any one particular incident that I can think of right now, but
that's okay. In your opinion, is there a difference between a regular, a Catholic, or a witch cemetery, especially when you're investigating them?
Okay, I'm sorry. What was that again? No, is there any different in them?
Is there any difference in them, just in general, and how you would investigate them?
No. I don't have any. My grandmother will kill me, but I don't have any religious affiliation, so. I'd be totally open to everything there. So, I know, depending on your religion, some people don't believe in some of this. So,
yeah. I don't know that I've ever encountered a witch's cemetery, and that's not the first time I've seen that question, and I think it came from Darren before, too. So, Darren, if you know where there's a witch's cemetery, fill a girl in. I want to know where this is.
In Salem, I'm guessing.
Well, but
gypsies would probably know where one is.
Is there, though, one that's just a witch's cemetery, even in Salem? Because that would be phenomenal. That would be awesome.
I haven't heard of just a witch's one, but...
Somebody should figure this out and let me know.
I guess I don't know how you would do differently on the different cemeteries.
I don't know how you would do necessarily either. I know that when we were at Mackinac Island, there was a Catholic cemetery, and then there was a Protestant, I can't remember what the other one was, and then there was a military cemetery, and I mean, we approached all of them the same way. They all felt the same way. The only thing we really did any different with any of them is we used them to figure out which was which as far as historically which came first on the island because of the dates, you know. But, I mean, I don't know.
I suppose it would differ on the questions you would ask, you know, if you're doing, like a spirit box or something, I guess. Because, like you said, if it was a military cemetery, you'd ask certain questions.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. You wouldn't necessarily go into a witch's graveyard and ask, you know...
Yeah, what war was in.
Or, questions about God and heaven and...
As long as you treat everything with respect, especially in a cemetery, I mean...
Yeah, definitely.
It should be about the same, I would think.
Yeah. And in chat, they're kind of saying what I'm thinking, too, is that there's cemeteries that have witches' graves, but not necessarily a cemetery that's just for witches, which, again, if anybody knows where there is a graveyard that is just for witches, I would love to know that. So Wolf has a question. He says, what is your thoughts on people with psychic medium abilities that are afraid to use them?
Well... I've heard you say everybody has their own abilities. They just got to own their own abilities. I myself have not. But I mean, I would think they should be open with everything. They should not be afraid to experience that stuff. You have to. I feel that, and I know I'm not talking from experience, of course, but what I've heard other people say. That you just kind of work with how to control it, you know, and to live with it. I mean, if some of these people in this panel this last weekend was saying how they were experiencing, you had some questions from the audience that one lady was having problems experiencing it and didn't know it. It was kind of scaring her, actually, and I liked a lot of the answers that she was given. So you just got to kind of, I don't know, just learn how to deal with it, control it, and don't let it control you. You control it, I think, is what you got to go through. Not going to tell it either.
What are your thoughts on having someone who has those abilities on an investigation with you, though?
Well, I'd love it. I mean, it goes back to having another point of view, another aspect. I've never, when we've done, besides you, of course, really had a medium join us. So I think it'd be pretty awesome. I guess, well, the Southern Gypsies, when we were at the Farrar, they did a little bit of that, but, we were in kind of different groups.
Right.
So we didn't get to spend too much time with them, but, excuse me. But that's probably the only time I've really been with them, like a medium is with you or the Southern Gypsies.
I'm so sorry about that because we're not a one of us normal.
Well.
No, we're a good time. We're fun. I know.
Oh, I think it'd be great to have one every time we went out, but
I think there's definitely a benefit. Absolutely. And I've said this for years that if you're only investigating intuitively or feeling things out intuitively, or if you're only using the tools and the science side of things, you are only getting half the story. If you don't combine the two to get that full picture, you're not going to get everything. You really have to have the two. And it helps validate both sides of things, because if I go out and I do a walkthrough and I say, this is what I'm feeling, this is what's going on, this is what Dora has to say tonight, and then you go in with your Ovilus or your other equipment and you get the same answer from her through the equipment, well, guess what? You just validated both sides of that, Mm-hmm. It just makes everything that much more valid, in my opinion, humble little opinion. But
yeah, but I'll put a shout out up there if you guys ever go to my Facebook page. See, I have an event and you have medium capabilities. I'd be more than happy for you to join.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. You've said that you don't really have many abilities, but I know that you've come to a retreat and you've been to several classes at this point. I personally think that I've seen you become more comfortable with things. Do you think that at least from the time that you started letting yourself kind of explore that more till now that you have experienced more when you've gone out into locations?
Well, this is going to be a long answer, but I think I need to go back to what I first experienced. When I was eight, and of course this is before everybody was talking about paranormal stuff. So we're talking 1969. I was 8 years old. Well, I take it back. I would have just turned 9. My birthday's in December, but my grandfather had died 3 months before Christmas. And me and my brother would always get up in the middle of the night to see what Santa brought us.
Right.
Okay, we were at my grandparents' home. And I had got up, and, it was an old farmhouse, and you always had to walk through, because all the light switch panels was like in one room. It was an old farmhouse, the wiring was all done. So you always had to walk through the living room to get to the kitchen where all the light switches were.
I hate that, yes.
So I had gotten up, first one up, and I was walking through the living room, and there was this chair that my grandfather always sat. And there was just this, and the only way I can explain it, it was like looking at the sun. And then you look away, and then hey, you have this little dot in your eyeball or whatever.
Right.
This was right by his chair. It was actually behind his chair. And, not knowing what it was, I was kind of scared. So I kind of got over as far as I could to get through the doorway to go turn on the light switch. and I turned on the light switch, and of course everything was gone. Never told anybody nothing. Years later, because I thought everybody would think, oh, you're just saying stuff. wasn't until, you started reading some of these books and seeing some of this other people experiencing. And that's when I realized that, I bet that was my grandfather.
Right.
And, not even thinking it was paranormal, not even thinking it was him. But, later on, I just kind of put two and two together, and I just wish I could go back to that house. They're both gone now, and we got rid of that house. So, but we got rid of it before I kind of got into the paranormal research. So that's one place I'd like to go back to someday, maybe. I don't know if they ever put it up for sale, but
yeah, you'd have to hit it right in the middle, though, when it's actually on sale, and find a way to tell them, hey, we don't really want to buy it. We just want to come in and explore it.
Right. But, that's kind of where my first experience was. So,
yeah. No, that's cool. And
that's kind of where, and experiencing it and not knowing it was a paranormal experience is kind of where I kind of put two and two together later. I had another experience when I was kind of starting out. When I first was starting out investigating, we were at this other house, and electricity had went off.
Mm-hmm.
And I know quite a bit about electricity, but I was upstairs kind of doing, with the electricity off, I was bored, and I was kind of going through and doing EVP session. And while I was upstairs, one room that I was in, not any other part of the house, I got this like vibration, and all the lights in that room came on, then went off again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was like a surge of energy. And like I said, it was like a vibration, like a big surge of energy. And I went down and I said, Billy, did the lights come on? She said, no. So I can't explain.
But you saw a light kind of flash.
Yeah, yep. It was actually our room that had our computer in and everything. And the computer came on, the desk light came on. Yeah. It was just like a surge of energy. And I've seen this on some of the shows that they have, like a surge of energy and stuff turns on. And that was kind of weird. It was just in the one room. And she didn't sense anything in on the first floor. So, and I was on the second floor. So that was kind of a weird deal there. But
that would be a cool thing to see.
Yeah.
I've never had a power surge like that. That'd be... Yeah. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, that'd be interesting.
That was the one time or my first time, I got scared. Because it just came all of a sudden, I mean, I had this vibration tingling, and then the lights came on for a split second, and then went right back off. I mean, because you're right in the thinking everything's pitch black, and everything's silent, and all of a sudden it's like someone going boo at you.
Right. Yeah, and it's crazy because you're sitting there waiting for something, and that wasn't an investigation per se, but when you're sitting there waiting for something to happen, even when you're waiting, when it does, you still jump like a moron. It's like, wah! But
jumping, I know.
Craziness. All right. Well, oddly enough, this hour has gone by already. It goes by super, super fast. So in case you guys haven't heard, I have started shuffling a deck of cards to do our one-card reading for the evening. While I'm doing the reading, Steve, if you want to be thinking about just giving a shout-out to investigation and events you have coming up and where people can get a hold of you, we'll have you share all that information here in just a minute. That one jumped out, so we're going with this. All right, so the deck that I'm using tonight is the Divination of the Ancients Oracle deck. And as I get ready to draw a card, one jumped out of the deck, and it's the Candle card. This is saying that you have been asking for something for a long time now. Be assured that very soon the answer or solution you have been waiting for will be illuminated. Too often you have dismissed direct divine guidance, mistaking it for your own thoughts, which you have then analyzed and pushed to the back of your mind. Instead, it is time for you to realize your natural claircognizant, clear-knowing abilities and accept that this is how you receive your messages from Spirit. Doing so will enable you to clearly understand your next steps, as your ideas will appear as bright burning candles lighting your way. You can trust the messages you have been given. Allow your inner light to shine brightly, for by doing so, you illuminate the way to follow others.
What do you think?
This card, I would love to tell everybody that this card is for everybody, and it may be, and I hope that it resonates for a lot of people, but I am not even going to pretend that this card was not for me. Sometimes we work so hard at something, or that we work at manifesting something so hard, something that we want, something that we need, something that we're working towards, a goal, however you want to look at this. But we have, at least I have a tendency to logic myself out of listening to that answer, especially when it's something that I want. Because I will say, well, that can't possibly be the real answer. I can't trust that gut reaction, that gut feeling that I got, because it's the answer that I want. So I can't trust that. That just must be me putting my wants and desires and bias on that answer. So I will dismiss it, or I will overanalyze it until I have talked myself out of that being the right answer. We need to stop doing that. We need to stop second guessing the thoughts and the feelings that we get. We have to trust. We have to trust in our guts, in our intuition, in the guidance, in the signs that we are being shown over and over and over again. And we have to just believe that things are going to be okay. Mama Pat will tell you, if she could get on here, because I'm sure she's yelling at me, where we put our energy is what we manifest. And if we believe that bad is going to happen, then guess what? We're giving energy to that bad outcome. Yes, Spirit, I'm hearing you, and I will quit giving bad energy to outcomes. Remember to think positively. Remember to hope for the best. And if for some reason things don't work out to be the best that they can be, have faith that there's a reason that things turned out the way that they did. But trust your gut. That's the main message of this card. Trust your gut. Trust the things that are being said in front of you. Trust that the feelings that you're getting, and don't overthink it. Don't logic yourself out of the answer just because it happens to be the answer that you want. All right. So.
My 2 cents.
Yeah.
Don't let the negative people hang around you.
That's a big yes, too.
Yep.
And I think that's a huge, strong point of that, too, Steve. I think too often that we give our energy away to people, and maybe at one point in our lives, they were the people that we needed to give our energy to, but that doesn't mean that we should always give our energy to those people, you know? Sometimes things change, and sometimes our energy needs to go different places. When you start feeling that there's somebody in your life that they're not doing more good than they are harm for you, then sometimes it's time to shuffle the cards and see what else is out there waiting for you. And don't let the negative interfere. Don't let the naysayers interfere. Yeah, I think there's absolute truth in that, Steve. Yeah. Absolutely.
I try to surround myself with positive people. So
I definitely try. So, and it's amazing how and this is, I guess, what I can say from my personal experience, when you get that overwhelming energy or that negative energy or that monopolizing energy out of the way, the good energy, the good people start flowing in. And it's amazing, you know, I mean, the people that I've met and the friends that I've gained just even in this last year has been huge. So, yeah, definitely surround yourself with good people. So, and I am glad that you are one of my good people. So,
well, thank you.
Glad we met.
It You're one of mine as well. So
I look forward to continuing to do more stuff with you. So, and I did ask Adam and Sarah at the expo this last weekend about the seance for class next month on the 14th.
Okay.
And we are a go. So,
November? Or?
Oh, no, October. October 14th? October 14th is the Intuitive Journey class.
Okay.
And remember, I talked about we were going to do a Ghost and Spirits class, but I wanted to ask Sarah and Adam if they'd be comfortable with a seance, and they said yes.
Okay.
So, yeah. Shameless plug, on October 14th at the Granger House will be my next Intuitive Journey class. And we'll be talking about, what are ghosts, what are spirits, how are they different, how do you interact with them, what is a seance, and how does it work? And then we will be doing a seance and communicating. So, super excited about that. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. What do you have coming up? Where are you guys going to be?
Well, October 12th, we're going to be at Spook Cave. If anybody's interested, I do have 2 more spots that we could fill. I'm not too concerned about it. But we do have 2 more. He said we could do up to 9 people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I do have 7 for sure. October 19th, which is a Saturday, I have a Granger House investigation, and this is not a flashlight tour. This is Believers United Society, their own event. So you can find us on Facebook, join bus, and like I said, I got a website, but I don't look at it too much. So besides the Facebook page.
I have a Facebook or a website. I don't look at it much either, to be very honest. I need someone to keep my website because I'm horrible at it. So you're out on Facebook under Believers United Society. Mm-hmm. Are you on Twitter and Instagram too under that or no?
I am, but not the Believers.
Okay, just under you?
Just under me, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So, he, just, if you guys haven't caught on in the last hour, he's just a great guy with great energy. His wife, Billie Jean, is phenomenal. And the other people that I've encountered because of him have been great too. On that note, just to mention for upcoming Realm Walker shows, next week on the 9th, I am actually not going to be having a show. So I have a week off, and then I come back on the 16th of October, and my guest will be John Black. And we'll be talking about his new book that he has released and just some of his experiences. And if you guys haven't heard him on any other shows, you'll want to come listen to him just because he's a hoot to listen to. Also coming up for me, so this Friday night, I have a private event coming up that I'll be doing that I will potentially go live Friday night. I'll give you more information on that as I can. And then Saturday night I'll be with Raven Rose Paranormal, and we will be at the Shaler Haunted House, which has another name too that I can never remember, but it's in Shaler, Iowa. It's an actual haunted house that is haunted, and we'll just be outside sharing some information about paranormal investigating, what we do, that sort of stuff. And then I believe we might get to go in after the doors close, but I can't remember for sure. Unofficially, I still have to get everything worked out with the owner still, but there is a potential that I'm going to be at Ash Bash the weekend of October 12th and 13th. I've talked to a couple people about it, but I've got to reach out to Rob and Terry and get that taken care of. But I think that's where I'm going to be that weekend. And then, like I said, October 14th is my next Intuitive Journey class. That's going to be Ghost Spirits and Seances. And as I mentioned, then John Black is my guest on the 16th, which is the next Realm Walker. So, yeah, I was just to make a mention, too, because I don't think that I've mentioned this so far on the radio because we just got the contract done and everything. For anybody who's in the Clinton, Iowa area, on October 23rd, I'm going to be doing a presentation at the Clinton Library. And we'll be just talking about paranormal investigating and some of the most notorious haunted locations that I've been to. So that's in Clinton, Iowa at 5:30, I believe, on October 23rd. So I'll be getting an event created for that here pretty soon. I was waiting for the final confirmation from them. So, yeah. Any final thoughts, Steve?
No, I just want to thank everybody for having me, and hopefully I answered most of the questions, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I missed some, but then Darren's used to me missing some because I am horrible on keeping track of chat. So just a big shout out to everybody who's in chat tonight. Thank you to Shay, Darren. I'm going to go fast here. Mama Pat. Becca was in chat. I didn't even know she was in there. I wonder if she was still there when I was talking about Granger House. Wolf was in there. Scrolling fast. I really should just start making a list as I go through this. Mama Pat, that way I don't have to scroll back through.
Just want to let everybody know I'm trying to work on getting the Southern Gypsies here sometime next year, too. So.
And I was going to talk to you about that because I was thinking more about it. I think we can maybe arrange something. There's some options outside of what we had discussed maybe originally. We'll chat off air.
Okay.
Yeah. So anybody who's listening that I didn't happen to mention, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being in chat tonight. If you're listening to this on a playback, I appreciate you as well. The support makes a world of difference. And I don't think I do this often enough, so I just want to make sure to give a huge shout out to Miss Shay and Matt and the Paranormal Buzz Network. Just a thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to do this show and bring in amazing guests like Steve and everybody else that I've had on the show. Shay takes very, 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 very good care of me and my high maintenance hiney. So just a huge thank you to Shay because she's amazing and I don't think she hears it enough. And yeah, so thank you. Love you, Shay. And Miss Kim Purvis just jumped in here. Okay, so that is everything for the night, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk to you again on the 16th. Just a reminder for anybody who listens to Shay's Paranormal Chat as well, there is not a show this Friday, but she will be back on air on the 11th, I believe, and I have no clue who the guest is because I am a horrible co-host. But I think she has a show on the 11th, and I know she'll be amazing. So, ooh, Josh Hurd, damn, now I want to be on the show. Okay. Maybe I'll have to do it while I'm driving. I could do that. It wouldn't be my first time. Okay. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Mwah. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Shay. Thanks, Kelly.